Great. Well, first of all, let me thank you for coming today. We are very excited to have you join us at our first London conference. I want to thank, first of all, our partners at Dow Jones for helping us get this event organized and also for hosting us today. We've been working together for almost a decade when it comes to news analysis and now what we call big data. So we're very excited to continue this relationship and host you today. Today's plan is really to get some very interesting people to talk about big data, and more importantly, to talk about how one can go about creating and combining different types of information in order to generate alpha, to be able to create excess returns, to be able to demonstrate that markets are not as efficient as perhaps we thought they were, and ultimately prove that there is value in analyzing large amounts of information. But let me start off by kicking off with some housekeeping items. For starters, just so you know where you are, you're on the 17th floor of this amazing news building. I believe it used to be called the Baby Shark, and more importantly, it's where you're likely to encounter some of the best publications in the world, as I'm sure Dow Jones would like to emphasize. You may stumble upon Rupert Murdoch out there, so say hi to him if you get a chance to meet him. But let's also mention that today's event is going to be covered by some of the best speakers that I've known so far in big data. They will be presenting some pretty interesting information, and I hope you get a chance to tweet about this, since there's a lot of people that I'm sure would want to hear about what's being said today. We're also recording the event, so we'll get a chance to put this online for people to enjoy the presentations afterwards. The idea here is to be able to not only share the information online, but also to allow you to ask questions throughout the event. So if you have anything that you would like me to bring up at the end of the event, or if you want to raise your hand while speakers are presenting, just feel free to do so. We also have Symposium at RavenPack.com that's being monitored in case you want to send an email because you're shy. We're going to have an open bar throughout the event, so go crazy back there if you'd like. And we're going to have a bit of a break at 3:45 after a few presentations, but we'll get right after that into the last session, and by around 5:30 we'll be all set. We're going to have a cocktail reception right after that, so I hope you can stay for that event as well. Finally, restrooms, they're located right at the back. You go back that way and it's on the left-hand side. Let me just give you a quick glimpse of the agenda for today. So we're going to be starting off with a, I think, very interesting presentation by Nicholas Mallison on big data and the management revolution in quantitative investing. We'll then have a presentation by RavenPack's chief data scientist, Peter Hafez. Immediately after that, our friends from FactSet will be presenting on taking a sentimental approach to quantitative investing. And then our friends from MathWorks will actually give you a demo of how you can incorporate RavenPack data into the new MATLAB environment. We'll take a break after that, as I mentioned, and we'll end with even more interesting presentation from an academic who used to come from industry, Jörg Osterreiter, who will be talking about news arrival and commodity price reactions. And finally, Nicolas Boitou will be talking about natural language processing applied to central bank press releases, which I think is also quite exciting. And finally, our panel, hosted by Saeed Amin, will discuss how vendors like RavenPack and others are actually helping the industry and incorporating big data analytics. I'm not going to talk much more, just give you a quick introduction to this next speaker. Most importantly, let's talk about what big data is when it comes to finance. And one of the most important distinctions that I like to make is to think about big data as both structured and unstructured information. The majority of the solutions out there and the majority of the research has been done on structured data. What is structured data? Pricing data, fundamental data, basically anything that you can put into a spreadsheet. The hardest part of big data analytics is unstructured text. How do you go about analyzing research reports, SEC filings? How do you try to quantify the written word? Those are the areas that we're going to cover today, which I believe are very exciting and perhaps the future of what will be finance in the next 20 years. So without further ado, let me introduce our keynote speaker. His presentation is titled, Is Big Data a Management Revolution for Quantitative Investing? What is possible beyond automated sentiment analytics on news streams? He is the lead partner for analytics at Atos Consulting. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Mallison.